everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren from A Menagerie of Stitches. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this super beginner-friendly Hoya Heart Succulent. This is perfect for those of us who can't keep plants alive or just want to add a cute plant to your bookshelf or desk. I'll be walking you through step-by-step how to make this succulent. If you prefer a written pattern, you can purchase the PDF on my website, amenagerieofstitches.com. I'll have a link down below in the description if you'd like to purchase it. To make the Hoya Heart, we're going to need worsted weight yarn, or a level 4. I'm using Lion Brand Vanna's Choice in the colors Kelly Green and Barley. I'm also going to be using Premier Basics Worsted in the color Pale Orchid. We're also going to need a size F 3.75mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, black embroidery floss and a needle, a pair of 9mm safety eyes, a stitch marker, a yarn needle. You'll need thin cardboard, as well as some fiberfill. You can find the full material list in the description below. For this pattern, you'll need to know how to make a magic ring, how to single crochet, and how to invisible decrease. You'll also need to know how to work in the back loops and front loops only. Video tutorials for how to do these techniques can also be found in the description below. We're going to start by making the pot. I'm making mine in this Pale Orchid color, but have fun and choose any color that you'd like. So to begin, I'm going to start with round 1, which is our magic ring. So it's 6 single crochet in a magic ring. So I'm just going to make my magic ring. Now I'm going to make 6 single crochet inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I'm going to pull the tail to close it. And now we're going to start onto round 2. Round 2 says to increase in each stitch around for 12 stitches. So that means I'm going to place 2 single crochet into every single stitch around, and I'll get 12 once I hit the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's going to be the end of round 2. I'm going to just pull my tail just to close my magic ring up a little bit better. And then I'm going to place my stitch marker into that last stitch. Moving on to round 3, the pattern says to single crochet 1, increase 6 times for 18 stitches. So that means I'm going to place 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch I'll place 2 single crochet for my increase. So I'll do 1, and now I'm going to increase in this next stitch, 1, 2, and I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way around until I hit the stitch marker. So single crochet 1, and then I'm going to increase. And that is going to be the end of round 3. Moving on to round 4, the pattern says to single crochet 1, increase, then you're going to single crochet 2, increase 5 times, single crochet 1. So what that means is we're going to single crochet in the first one, increase in the second, and then I'm going to do the repeat sequence, which is going to be single crochet 2, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to increase in that next stitch, and I'll repeat that 5 times around. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then I'm going to increase. Now in the last stitch, we're going to just make 1 single crochet, and that's going to be the end of round 4. So you should have 24 stitches. Moving on to round 5, the pattern says to single crochet 3, increase 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to increase in the next stitch. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to increase. And that is going to be the end of round 5. So you should have something looking like this. Moving on to round 6, the pattern says to single crochet 2, increase, then single crochet 4, increase 5 times, then single crochet 2, and we'll have 36 stitches at the end. So what we're going to do is single crochet 1, single crochet 2, then we'll increase in the next stitch. Then we'll start our repeat, which is going to be single crochet 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll increase in that next stitch. 1, 2. I'm going to repeat that 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then increase. Now in the next 2 stitches, the last 2, I'm going to single crochet in each of those. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2. And that is going to be the end of round 6 for a total of 36 stitches. Moving on to round 7, the pattern says in back loops only, single crochet 5, increase for 6 times for a total of 42 stitches. So I'm going to work this entire row in the back loops only, leaving the front ones unworked. So we'll single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll increase in the next stitch. So 1, 2. And by working in the back loops, it creates a rim for our pot once it's sitting. And this is going to be the end of round 7. I'm just going to place my stitch marker. Now you can see that our rim is starting to form. If you were to push these stitches up, you'll have what looks like the flat base. Moving on to the next part of the pattern, it says for rounds 8 through 16, we're going to single crochet 42. So that means I'm going to single crochet in every single stitch for those rows 42 times, and that's going to build up our pot. So I'm just going to single crochet into every single stitch, and you'll go through both loops. Now, if your pot starts to fold in on itself, you're going to want to just correct it so that it goes in the proper direction, because this is going to be our base. You'll always want to have the magic ring tail facing away from you as you're working. I'm just going to continue working rounds 8 through 16, and I'll meet you back here once I have finished round 16. And that's going to be the end of round 16. So you should have something that looks like this so far. This is going to be the side of the pot where we add the face later on. And then you just want to tuck in this magic ring tail, so it's tucked inside there. Let's move on to round 17. Round 17 says in the front loops only, single crochet 42. So this is going to give us our rim of the pot. So in the front loops, we're just going to single crochet in every single stitch around for 42 stitches. And that's going to be the end of round 17. Now let's move on to round 18. Round 18 says in the back loops only, single crochet 42. So in the back loops of those stitches that we just made, I'm going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch for 42 stitches. And that is going to be the end of round 18. Now you'll just want to kind of even out your rows, kind of pull it a little bit just to even them out. And that's what it's going to look like at the end. So now that we've finished the pot, we're going to fasten off. So I'm going to cut about 4 or 5 inches, and then we'll take this tail and just pull it all the way through. Now for this next step, this is an invisible fasten off. You can easily do this with a crochet hook, but I prefer to use a yarn needle for it. So you're just going to thread your yarn onto your yarn needle. Now for this, you're going to skip the very first stitch that we made, and you're going to go into the second stitch here. You're going to insert from the front to the back, so underneath both of the loops, so the V, you'll just insert it and pull it through. Pull it a little bit tight, but not too tight, and then you'll take this tail, I like to bring it forward, and in that very last stitch that we made, you'll insert the yarn needle underneath the back loop only, and then you'll pull it through, and it'll create a fake V, so like a fake stitch. And then what I like to do is I weave the yarn needle through some of those stitches in the back, and then pull the yarn through. Kind of adjust it, and then you can secure it, but I don't, so you can just trim the yarn, and then that's how you do an invisible fasten off. Now it's time to add the safety eyes. The pattern states to add them between rounds 12 and 13 or rounds 6 and 7 from the rim. So if you don't want to count rounds 12 to 13, just count 6 to 7 from this rim. And then we're going to place them 5 stitches apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put it into that next stitch. All right, and that's where our eyes go. Now to add the mouth, with embroidery floss and a needle, we're going to bring the thread up from inside the pot. I like to start on the left side, about the row right where the eyes are at the top here. So we're going to insert it and then pull through. And then to go back inside the pot, we're going to go over about 1.5 stitches and then insert the needle back into the pot. Now you'll pull the thread all the way through, but don't pull it through all the way. You'll want to leave some out so that you have this little smile. Then you'll insert the needle in the row below and in the center of those 2 points. So right in between the 2 tips of the smile, you'll insert it in the row below. Then you'll pull the needle through and give it a little tug so it tightens that little V down. And then you'll insert the needle back into the pot right below where we came out. Then you'll just pull it through to tighten, and that's going to be your smile. So I'm just going to secure this with a knot. And that's how we add the facial features. Let's move on to the dirt. You can use any brown yarn. I just prefer ones with speckles to make it look more like soil. To begin, we're going to start with round 1, which says to make 6 single crochets into a magic ring. So I'm just going to make my magic ring and place 6 single crochets inside. And then I'm going to close the magic ring. Now let's move on to round 2. Round 2 says to make an increase in each stitch around for 12 stitches. So I'm just going to place 2 single crochets into every single stitch, and I'll get 12 once I hit the last one. And that's going to be the end of round 2. Let's move on to round 3. The pattern says to single crochet 1, increase 6 times for 18 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch, then I'll increase in the next stitch. And I'll repeat that sequence all the way around until I hit the stitch marker. And that's going to be the end of round 3. Now let's move on to round 4. The pattern says to single crochet 1, increase, then we'll single crochet 2, increase 5 times, and then we'll single crochet 1 to end with 24 stitches. So that means we're going to place 1 single crochet, then we'll increase in the next. Now we'll start the repeat, which is single crochet 2, then we'll increase in the next stitch. And we'll repeat that 5 times. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then we'll increase. Now in this last stitch, we'll make a single crochet. And that's going to be the end of round 4. Moving on to round 5, the pattern says to single crochet 3, increase for 6 times for a total of 30 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, and then I'll increase in the next stitch. And that's going to be the end of round 5. Moving on to round 6, the pattern says to single crochet 2, increase, then we'll single crochet 4, increase 5 times, then we'll end with 2 single crochet. So I'm going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches, I'll increase in the next stitch, and then we'll start our repeat. So single crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll increase. Repeat that all the way around 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. Now in our last 2 stitches, we'll make a single crochet in each. So 1, 2. And that's going to be the end of round 6. Moving on to round 7, the pattern says to single crochet 5, increase 6 times for a total of 42 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll increase in that next stitch. And that's going to be the end of round 7. Now I'm going to fasten this off. You'll want to leave a long tail for sewing, and then you'll just pull the tail all the way through. Now I'm going to make the invisible fasten off just like we did with the pot. So in the second stitch, we're going to skip that first one. In the second stitch, insert your needle underneath the 2 loops, and then pull it through, and then underneath the back loop of our last stitch, insert the needle and then pull it through. And that will give us our invisible fasten off. Now let's move on to the Hoya heart. The heart is worked in 2 pieces. First we crochet one side, and then we crochet the second side and join them together. To start, for row 1, we're going to make a magic ring and place 6 single crochets inside. I'm going to make my magic ring, and then I'll place 6 single crochets inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to close the magic ring. Then moving on to round 2, the pattern says increase in each stitch around 12 times. So I'm going to single crochet 2 into each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now let's move on to round 3. The pattern says to single crochet 1, increase 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. So I'm going to place 1 single crochet, then I'll increase, and I'll repeat that all the way around. So single crochet 1, increase. And that's going to be the end of round 3. This is going to be our first piece. So I'm going to cut this, leave about 6 or 7 inches, and then we'll just pull the tail all the way through. And then set this aside. Now we're going to repeat rounds 1 through 3 to make a second side, but we're not going to fasten off after round 3. And I'll show you what we're going to do once we reach round 4. So let's start with the magic ring with 6 single crochet inside. Now that we've made a second side, we're going to start with round 4. So you're going to keep your second piece with the yarn on your hook, then we'll bring in the first piece, and you're going to insert your hook into the very first stitch that we made. And then you'll take your yarn and you'll make a single crochet. And that's how we're going to join the pieces. So I'm going to single crochet all the way around this first piece, so 18 total. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we're going to single crochet onto the other piece, our second piece. So you'll insert the hook into the very first stitch we made, and you'll single crochet. So then single crochet around the entire piece, so 18 total. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then our stitch marker is going to be the 18th stitch. And that's how we're going to connect them. Now you'll see that there is this big open gap, but that's okay because this tail that we left from the very first piece, we'll use it to close it up. So let's move on to round 5 before we close this up. Round 5 says to single crochet 36. So I'm just going to single crochet in every single stitch around for 36. All right, and that's going to be the end of round 5. So you should have a piece that looks like this. Once it's flattened, you'll see those are our little humps right there. So let's close up this piece. You'll take this tail, and with your yarn needle, since it's on the inside, we want to bring it onto this outside piece right here. So I like to go underneath some of these stitches right here and pull it through. And then we'll insert it back into that other piece. And then you'll just pull this through, and then you can insert it into the other side and into the second piece. And then you'll just insert it back into the center, pull it tight, and then that is closed up. So I'm going to secure this with a knot and then trim the end. And if you want to, you can also trim these magic ring ends just so they're out of the way. So this is what it should look like now. Moving on to round 6, the pattern says to single crochet 7, invisible decrease, then we'll single crochet 16, invisible decrease, then we'll single crochet 9 for a total of 34 stitches. So we'll single crochet 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we're going to make an invisible decrease. So in the front loops only of the next 2 stitches, you'll insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, and that's your invisible decrease. Then we're going to single crochet 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then in the next stitch, we're going to make our invisible decrease. So the front loops only of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then make your invisible decrease. Then we'll single crochet 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that's going to be the end of round 6. So your piece should start to look like this. We're going to be forming the edges of the heart. Moving on to round 7, the pattern says to single crochet 6, invisible decrease 2 times, then single crochet 13, invisible decrease 2 times, single crochet 7, for a total of 30 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in the next 2 stitches, I'm going to make an invisible decrease, and that's 1. Then we'll repeat and do another one. So that's our 2 invisible decrease. Then we're going to single crochet 13. So 1, 2, 3. Now it's time to make 2 invisible decreases. So there's 1, 2, and then we'll single crochet 7. And that's going to be the end of round 7. So we should have 30 stitches. Now moving on to round 8, the pattern says to single crochet 6, invisible decrease, single crochet 13, invisible decrease, and then we'll single crochet 7 for a total of 28 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 6, then I'll place an invisible decrease, and then single crochet 13. Then I'll place an invisible decrease, and then we'll single crochet 7. And that's going to be the end of round 8. Moving on to round 9, the pattern says to single crochet 6, invisible decrease, single crochet 12, invisible decrease, then single crochet 6 for a total of 26 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 6, then I'm going to place an invisible decrease, and then single crochet 12, and then we'll invisible decrease, and then single crochet 6. Now moving on to round 10, the pattern says to single crochet 26. So we'll just place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And that's going to be the end of round 10. As you can see, it's starting to taper as we work our way down. Moving on to round 11, the pattern says to single crochet 5, invisible decrease 2 times, single crochet 9, invisible decrease 2 times, then we'll end with 4 single crochet for a total of 22 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 5, and then I'm going to make 2 invisible decrease. So that's going to be my first one, and then the second one. Now I'm going to single crochet 9, now I'm going to make 2 invisible decrease. So there's 1 and 2, and then I'll single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And that's going to be the end of round 11. Moving on to round 12, the pattern says to single crochet 5, invisible decrease, single crochet 9, invisible decrease, single crochet 4 for a total of 20 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 5, and then I'm going to invisible decrease, and then we'll single crochet 9, and then we'll make an invisible decrease, and then single crochet 4. And that's going to be the end of round 12. For round 13, the pattern says to single crochet 20. So I'm just going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch around. And that's going to be the end of round 13. Now for our last round, round 14, it says to single crochet 4, invisible decrease 2 times, single crochet 6, invisible decrease 2 times, single crochet 2 for a total of 16 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet 4, and then I'm going to place an invisible decrease. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then I'm going to single crochet 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then we'll single crochet in the last 2 stitches. All right, and that is going to be the end of the plant. So I'm going to fasten this off, leave a long tail for sewing, and then I'll just pull this through, and then I'll do an invisible fasten off. So insert your needle underneath both loops of the second stitch and pull through, and then insert your needle under the back loop of the last stitch and pull through, and then that is going to be our fasten off. Now it's time to assemble our plant. With the Hoya heart, we're going to position it in the center of the dirt, and using our yarn needle, we're going to insert into the dirt and pull this tail through. Then we're going to insert the needle back into the dirt, and you'll go over underneath one of the stitches, and we'll pull this through. Now insert the needle back into the dirt and pull through. And we'll repeat this all the way around. So we're just going to be going underneath the last row of stitches on the plant. Now once you have it sewn into place, we're just going to secure this with a knot. And then you'll trim the end. And this is how it's going to look once you're finished sewing. Now we'll set this aside and work on the pot. For this next part, we're going to be adding cardboard to the bottom of the pot. I like to do this because it helps give a flat and sturdy base. It's totally optional, but this is what I like to do. I'm going to trace the bottom of the pot onto this cardboard. And then I'm going to cut this out. Now you'll want this bottom part to fit on the bottom part of the pot. So where our rim is, you need it to be inside of there. So I need to cut this down just a little bit more. All right, so that should be good. I like to double up, so I'm going to trace this and cut out another one. And then I will meet you back here for the rest of it. Now that you've traced another one, I like to just take a piece of tape and tape them together and then flip them so that they look like this. Now I'm going to place this into the bottom of the pot, and now it's time to add the plant. Before we attach the plant, I like to take the pot and fold the rim over so it exposes these back loops that we had that were left unworked. Now with the plant, you'll want to make sure that the heart is centered and facing forward. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at it, the eyes are centered, but then also on this side. So you don't want it to be wonky like that. You want to make sure that it's straight. Then with your yarn needle and the yarn tail, we're going to insert into the back loop. So I'm going to insert underneath one of these back loops from the pot and pull it through. Then I'm going to take the needle and go up through that stitch that we just came down from and pull my yarn through. Then we'll go into the next stitch on the other side. So this V right here, you'll go underneath both loops, and then you'll catch that back loop from the pot and pull through. Then you're going to take the needle and you'll go up through that stitch that we just came through and pull your needle and the yarn through. This is going to make it so that you have a clean finish along the edge of the pot and not a wonky finish with all of the yarn going across the stitches. So then I'm going to go underneath that next stitch, grab the back loop, and then pull through. Then I'm going to go up through that stitch and pull through. Move to the next stitch, go under the V, and then under that back loop and pull through. I'm going to continue doing this all the way around, but before I get to the very end, I'm going to end up filling this with fiber fill. All right, now that you've reached about 2/3 of the way, we're going to start stuffing this. And make sure when stuffing to get right behind the safety eyes so that they start to poke out just a little bit so they're not tucked in there. Now I'm going to continue sewing this closed, and I'll add fiber fill as I go. All right, now that we've reached the end, I'm going to just go through that stitch on the side here, and then I will insert the needle all the way down into the pot, and then I'll pull this through. And then I'm going to secure this yarn with a knot, and then I'll trim it. And then with the crochet hook, I'm just going to pull that knot through. Then to finish, we're just going to flip that rim back up, and then you can kind of give it a good squeeze and fill out where all the fiber fill is. And here's our finished Hoya heart, a super simple plant but quick and fun to make. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials and free patterns. Happy crocheting, friends!